After 4 weeks with the belt tensioner from Qubic System, I can clearly say it's the most exciting product I will review in 2024, and I have tested some incredible things this year, including the SimuCube active pedals or even the Qubic System motion platform, but this beast transformed the experience in different direction and brings my driving to another level. But a disclaimer first, Qubic System sent that unit for test, feedback and review, and as always I will try to do my best to not mislead you or create wrong expectations, so instead of giving you the specs or dimensions which you can easily find on their website, let me tell you what can do, how it feels, and why I personally rate it as the most exciting sim gear release in 2024. As the name of the product suggests, the two direct drive motors tension the belt separately, which creates an illusion of serious G-forces under braking, cornering and side acceleration. The forces are also very dynamic, which means if I pull off my feet from the throttle, I will experience like 1.5 G. If I apply a little bit force on the brake, I may experience like 2 G, and if I smash the brake, I will experience up to 9 G. Now, that happens when we decelerate in straight line, but things become even more interesting when start cornering and trial brake, pointing the car into the apex. Here is where the two motors create the magic, shifting the tension to the outside belt and creating that feeling of lateral forces into the corner, and again all that very dynamic. Being sim driver for so many years, the biggest missing part for me have always been the decelerating G-forces in comparison to the real experience, and even if this is not exactly what happened in the real car, the illusion is very, very strong. When I shared my experience with that white smile a few weeks back, was mostly emotions from something new, but today after many driving hours, that illusion become more and more natural, to the point I can live without the motion, but I can't without the belt effects. I guess it's just like the force feedback on the wheels, where things are not exactly like the real cars, but after some time brains start understanding the information, and that's exactly what happens with the belt. It just becomes the new normal natural experience. What I'm saying is, if you turn off the force feedback, the experience feels totally dead, and that's exactly how it feels right now for me if I turn off the belt tensioner. I'm telling you guys, feeling the car decelerating and cornering is absolutely next level experience through those big range of forces, and as much more I use it, that much more natural feels to my senses. Dynamic experience on different level, and till now I'm just talking about two effects. Next one is the centrifugal force, which gives extra dynamic under direction change, even accelerating the car. That means braking hard, I feel all the G-forces on my chest, and once I start trial braking and turn in, the tension shift to the outside belt and progressively relaxing with the amount of current G-forces created from the available grip. But when I start accelerating out of the corner with the centrifugal effect on, I will continue experience those lateral forces through the outside belt. Next, haptic effects, which in the last update become twice more alive. So let me start with the last one, which is the ABS. This is feature which can actually make someone faster and more consistent on iRacing. As some of you know, I use the SimuCube active pedals on that rig and putting the same frequency in both devices. They are in absolute sync, to the point I start feeling more the ABS activation through my ass than my feet. If you don't have any haptic feedback for ABS, this will help you control and optimize the braking process for sure. It feels as instant as the active pedals and also in total sync with the light indicators on the game. If you don't have any haptic feedback for ABS, this will help you control and optimize the braking process for sure. Immersion sight is the gear change, which is super fun and I love using it as it gives that extra layer. Another one is the rumble strip over the 3D curves, which makes the drive alive, and the last one is the motor vibrations. And one fun fact is this device is so powerful that I can feel those haptic effects not just from the belts but also through the entire seat. It is not like the bass shakers on four corners, but as it's passing the vibration through the rig and the seat and also through the belts, it creates that three-dimensional feeling. I can definitely feel on which side of the rumble strip the feedback is coming from, and the motor frequency range create really nice immersion. I've said last before, but we are not done yet, as there is more effects like wheel forward slip or lock, wheel slip angle and side slip, but I'm not big fan of using many effects at once as it become a bit confusing. Most of the times less is more, and picking just one of those three is more than enough for me to understand how the setup is performing and tweak the geometry of the car for like better rotation. Bounce is another great option as I can preset constant tension value, which means I can feel the acceleration of the car through relaxation of the belts, and when I let off the throttle I can feel the weight transfer shift just a bit more pronounced. And the best feature of the system is the auto calibration, as the only thing I have to do is just lock the belt, start the car, hit once the brake to auto calibrate, and then the system will know exactly how much to tense till the rest of that session. This is so convenient as I never have to think about it. And we are not done yet, as there are also those vertical forces. This is another subtle effect which gives the illusion of the body bouncing into the seat because of the anomalies of the tracks, which gives those vertical forces of the chassis. It's very fun how I can see how the car compress, decompress, and at the same time belts tense and relax, which gives the illusion of like I'm sitting in motion. Hopefully you understand why I'm so excited, as this thing can do crazy stuff, and as much more I use it, that much more I love. With the motion combined is amazing, but if I can keep only the motion or only the belt tensioner, it will be a very hard decision, but I will keep the BT1, and you know how much I love my motion platform. It really is that amazing. And about the technical aspect, as I've said before, you can read everything in the website, but the things you probably want to know is there is like zero latency between the game and the effects produced from the BT1. Every effect is in total sync with the chassis reaction, the SimuCube active pedals, and the motion system, which is not the case with the bass shakers I have tested before. However, keep in mind that there is some delay between our physical inputs and the game, and that applies for the wheelbases, the pedals, the shifters, the actuators, and the BT1. That means if I pull the shifter, it will take a few milliseconds to register that input in the game, but as soon as that happens, instantly the belt will react, and that's the same with the pedals and the wheel. If the belt don't feel in total sync with my physical feet movement, is just game limitation, but that's the same with the real cars using electronic throttle input, which require a few milliseconds to react. Next thing to know is each of the motors can produce up to 200 newtons, which is about 20 kilo per side, and 40 kilo may sound a lot for the chest, but it's actually not dangerous at all. It feels strong, but not painful, and of course we have total software control and can set it as strong as we want. I personally use it at about 70%. And of course, two direct drive motors in one case make it super heavy. There are also a few very important requirements for the optimal experience about the seat, and one is the height position of the holes to be aligned with the shoulder height, but a few centimeters up or down it doesn't change the experience that much for me. But the next requirement is important, as the belts are moving, and if they touch the neck it won't be ideal at all. Also, proper racing belts are highly suggested, not just because they are strong, but They are wide and provide a bit more surface for the pressure, which make the experience more comfortable. I use 6 points belt system, but detach the bottom side for more comfort between my legs, and I highly suggest to go for 4 points as you may save even some cash. Another question some of you may have is if this is as good without motion, and as I spent the last few weeks using the BT1 on its own, I haven't missed the motion too much. I even read on Discord a post from someone who is thinking to sell his deep box actuators and run only with the belt system. And if you want to learn more, I can definitely suggest to check the discussions on the Qubic System Discord chat from all those guys who use the system for quite a while. Don't just rely on my personal opinion and experience. Next, about the installation process, things are as simple as it can get. Attaching 2 brackets to the aluminum frame, then the body, then the 2 brackets for the belt connections, and 2 low friction parts for the seat holes attached with Velcro. I'm personally perfectly happy with those low friction parts, but I saw on Discord some cool solutions for even lower friction and also height adjustments if needed. Then just download the software, start the sim, tighten the belts, jump on the track, hit the first brake, and the system will auto-calibrate. Qubic System for sure provides the easiest user experience. There are also tons of profiles to choose from, and once you get familiar, you can start tweaking the sliders and match your personal like. The system is very quiet, and the loudest thing is the power supply fan, which is a bit annoying, and I saw few people complain about it. It doesn't bother me personally as I use strong cooling system anyway on my rig and I wear headphones, but for some it's annoying noise to deal with. And one more complaint was the bolts, which were too long and I had to use extra washers, but they solved that problem for the second batch. And that being said, those are the only 2 minor problems and one is already solved. So, all that being said, here is my final conclusion. For me personally, it's the product of the year in terms of immersion and excitement level. I know SimuCube active pedals and the Qubic motion system do completely different things, and I was very excited adding them to my sim experience, but this hit my dopamine on completely different level. There is no space for comparison between those 3 products, as they are on the top of their own leagues, but if I have to sacrifice one, that won't be the TB1 for sure. But the haptic features can cover some of the important effects I want from the motion and the pedals, and at the same time can give that impressive GeForce illusion which transforms entirely the experience. It is expensive pleasure, yet still cheaper than full motion, but for those who can afford it, it's the most easiest recommendation I can ever give. And if my intense experience gets you start thinking buying one, definitely check the comment section where you will find more opinions, and even join the Discord from Qubic System where you will find all the help you need from the community who already use it for quite some time.